welcome to the mom room. It's funny that it's called the mom room because I was like, she could clean the mom room, like hypothetically, right?
Yes. That's so funny. I love it.
So it's exciting to have you here. So usually, and a lot of people were interested about this question when I put up the Instagram sticker. Usually people come on if they're moms. I ask all these like parenting questions and like your transition to motherhood. And you are a little bit different because your account is very niche. It's very specific. It's like I clean shit and I clean it really well. And you kind of, you're not into the sharing of family life stuff. So my question for you on that is, when your account started to blow up at the beginning of COVID, was that something you were like, you consciously decided that on the spot, or did it just happen organically? How did that come about?
That's such a good question. So I do share some like mom stuff and like, you know, how to teach your kids to clean and like, you know, make a household. So everybody pitches in and like, not only mom, like me as mom, I'm not the only one who lives here. So I'm not going to be the only one who cleans up after stuff. Like I know yours is all like, I know your page is a lot about like emotional labor and like physical labor. And like, there's like lots of things that, and like, I always tell people that, like I say, cleaning is emotional labor. That's why you get angry at your family when you're doing it and you're like rage cleaning. It's like, you guys are all slobs. So I do talk quite a bit about that, but I don't like personalize it because I don't put my family on the internet. And so, you weren't following me at the beginning because I wasn't on the internet for a year. So no one knew who I was for the whole first year. It was just my hands, and, it just blew up so fast that like, I did have a couple of like vids on my highlights of like the back, like me, I only had 10,000, like not only had 10,000 followers, because 10,000 followers is a huge feat for a small cleaning company in Calgary, Alberta. That was like, when we got that swipe up, we were like, boogie, we're going to make some of that affiliate money. Like, remember when no one could link before they had 10,000? So anyways, but then, so I like, when we started kind of like blowing up really quickly, I went and like deleted a couple of the pictures of me that like, you know, were in the like background, whatever, highlight. And I was just kind of like, I'm going to see what happens here and chill. And like, and no one needed to see me because like I'm cleaning toilets, I'm cleaning my house, I'm cleaning like it wasn't about me. It was about helping people in the pandemic and teaching them how to feel like they had some control on their life because they were like in their four corners, and I was finding it was really making people feel safe. So, but then as I got bigger and bigger, you know, I hired a an agency, I hired everything. And then there was like, you know, some offers for some publicity and like, you know, having to be on the news and like CNN, like I did it all. And so then in December 2020, I did like this is who Gossip Girl is post. And it's like, it went really viral. It was great. And people were like, it was funny because like the comments were like, I feel like I just found out who Gossip Girl was. Like just a picture of me like sitting in my kitchen. We did a photo shoot. And then I was like, hi, like welcome world. I'm ready to roll. This isn't a flash in the pan. Like I want to talk, like I'm here to stay. And yeah, so that happened. So I was anonymous for like the first bit. And then even when we had like we had already surpassed 1 million followers and I was still anonymous, but like people who know me knew, or it was so funny. Cause like I had friends who were on like my personal Instagram who were like, I had no idea that was you. Like, oh my God, like close friends from high school that were like messaging me being like, I cannot believe that's you. I've been following you. I've been talking to people about you. My mind is blown, but like, I just didn't post it anywhere else. So anywho, that if you wonder if I was like looking for fame, I wasn't really at the beginning of all of this. Like if people are like, oh, you know, she's like become some bigwig. No, it's like, I just didn't know how to deal with it at first. And then that, rolled into my family on top of it. So, and like, I have full support of anybody who chooses to put their kids on the internet. I have no like problems with it. Like that's your choice for your family and what's right for you. But I was able to like slow it down and think about what I wanted to do here and think like, okay, what do I want to do? And I had actually had like an offer to put my daughter in a commercial with me. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to do that. And so then I started thinking more and more about it and being like, oh, and she really like her dream in life is to be like Taylor Swift. Like she wants to be like famous and like, she's like, Mom, put me on. I'm like, no, no, you can make that decision when you're like 16 or 18 or whatever it is. So, yeah, I just feel like it happened so incredibly fast for us that, and like, I'm not a normal Instagram influencer story. Like it was an overnight kind of sensation thing that happened really quickly for me. So I just kept thinking about it. And then I listened to some podcasts with people who were influencers who said their biggest regret. One was Jillian Harris. I think she was with like Caitlin Bristow, or maybe she was on her podcast. And she said like, one of my biggest regrets has been putting my kids on the internet. And she's like, just like weirdo DMs, people are creepy. Like one of the most Googled things about me is my address. Like why? I'm a cleaning, like I clean on the internet. Who the hell cares where I live? But I think it's because like we live in Alberta and it's beautiful out my back window and things like that. At least I hope it is. But you know what I mean? Like there's weirdos. And I feel really good about the decision every day. I don't look back because you can't take it back once you do it. You know what I mean? You can once you can like phase them out, the kids out. And I had talked to a few friends who had just had babies, or a few influencers who I had met through my agency who were like just kind of having babies and said like, asking me questions like what, oh, you didn't put your daughter on. I'm really interested to hear about that. And then all of them really struggling with those decisions of like, they've been bloggers for 8 years and they've worked up to have 500,000 followers. And then now their lives are moving into motherhood. And should I bring my child into this? Like, it's a huge decision.
It's hard. And like for me, I started out when Milo was a baby. And so it's a different thing. Like it's interesting because your daughter is older and your account blew up as she was like an older child. So it's as Milo gets older, like right now he's 4.5. Even me, I'm like, I don't really show him anymore. Like I show him here and there, like I'll story something that's cute or like he's doing something. But every time I do it, I question myself and I'm like, okay, like I'm like in this mode of like setting boundaries with what I'm doing. And ideally, like as he gets older, I don't want him to be on my social media anymore. So I share my whole life and I have been for so long that now it's hard to like get out of that, So you're almost lucky that she was older when you blew up because I feel like it's different to share
it's gradual.
An older child. They're like a whole ass human with like a personality. And, as his friends start to get older and he gets older, they're going to be consuming social media. Yeah. And they're going to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's gradual too when you have a baby and it's like, okay, like this is, and I think it's easier. I shouldn't say easier, but I feel like it's just like more like you're at home and you're kind of like, oh, of course I'm going to trust me. It's not like I've never posted my daughter's baby pictures on my personal Instagram or on my Facebook or anything like that. Like that's how you keep in connection with your family and things like that. But like all my shit is really locked down now. And so I just make sure. And like, yeah, she was in grade 2 when this happened. Now she's going into grade 6. Like she's almost 11. And like, the funny thing is because of the pandemic too, like, during the transition of the pandemic, like, like we didn't meet it. Your kid I know Milo isn't in school yet, but like I knew all the parents at school in grade 2. And then like 3, 4, it was COVID. And then all like, by the time she had went into middle school, like no one knows any of the parents anymore because no one's like, there's no community around the school. So for her, it was so funny because for her 10th birthday, I was like, hey, like she wanted to have a sleepover and with these kids and I didn't know any of the moms. So I had to be like, hey, like text me my number. Anyways, when they showed up for the birthday party, they're all like, hi, it's you. Because I was like, I'm not going to be like, hi, I'm GoCleanCo. Do you want to come to my daughter's 10th birthday? Like, I'm not going to say that shit. It's so funny. So it's just, that was really funny. And like and then also like some people are like, lots of kids weren't allowed to sleep over because they didn't know who we were either. Like there's all of those like elements, but I do find it's interesting because I'll be like, and then she does use me a little bit, like for some clout. Like she was in the science lab at school and she spilled something and she was like, does anyone have any Blue Dawn? Do we have any Blue Dawn in here? And she was like cleaning someone's sweater or some stuff out. And the teacher goes, how do you know that, Winnie? And she's like, oh, my mom is like a cleaning influencer. She's like, is your mom GoCleanCo? She's like, yeah. So then when he's like, the teachers all want books, Mom, can you sign them? So I was like, oh yeah, totally. Like, go in there. You're never going to get in trouble.
That is so
like,
funny.
we will use this to our advantage for you. But anywho, it's not like it's like this big secret, like where I live or anything. Or if like people come up to me some people will come up and say like, I didn't want to interrupt you with your 1 year with your family because I know you're so private or whatever. I'm not like, I'm not to the point, like, I love talking to people. It makes me so happy. I think people are over it in Calgary. Like, I don't really get approached in Calgary, but if I'm like I was in Dallas, I got like hit up, like everyone was coming up to me the whole time. Like, I think people are like, yeah, whatever. We know who you are here. Like, we just let you do your own thing. Go to Save on Foods. Who cares? But, yeah, so I feel like it's the best decision I've made so far. Like, just like keeping them separate out of it. And like, you'd be really surprised how many brand deals want your kids involved. Like, well, you probably know, right? It's like, okay, you know, I could, and I don't want to do that. You know, I'll work and I'll save for her college education. She doesn't need to work. She's 11.
Exactly. Okay. So I just finished a partnership where, just because of what it is, Milo is in the video. And I'm like, yeah, I think this is going to be my last one where I do that, because I don't feel, it was different when he's a baby and he was just like a blob, like sitting there, and it was just like, but he's like a little human now. It's different. And so I feel like that'll be my last one. And I'm just going to have to tell them, like, I don't really want him to be involved anymore.
And and like, there's also the element of like, the brands pay more for the kids to be in it. Like, that's an element there. So I do feel like in the next few years, maybe like it'll take 5 years or whatever, but like with the TikTok, like if you go on TikTok, that place is the Wild West. I love TikTok. Like, I love TikTok, but like, people get roasted for putting their kids on. Like, they're constantly like, it's a witch hunt all the time. And like, oh, you're making money off of your kids. And TikTok is a different, like, you know, totally different situation than Instagram. I just can't even explain how much different it is. I get absolutely zero, like one mean DM a month, maybe. People are so nice to me on Instagram, and then TikTok, like, people are mean and they like have no idea who you are, nothing.
I know.
They hate you because you wash the walls with Tide. I'm like, I don't get why you hate me. I didn't do anything to like double cross you in any life, but whereas like Instagram and people, but I know that's not the same for a lot of people. The more controversial you are, I really stay in my niche, to stay in my own lane. I don't talk about anything political. I just keep my mouth, like, you know, I just do what I'm supposed to be doing on there, and I stay there. But I do find that, like, but I know that's not the case for all people on Instagram. Like, Instagram can be a horrible place too, but I'm just very thankful and grateful that like my community is so fantastic. But I see it on TikTok. Like, I'm like, why are these comments so mean? But I'm not deleting it because I got 1 million views. But I'm like, why are you guys so angry about the way I'm cleaning this?
I know. That's where people go to be angry. I swear to God.
It's a different generation too. You know, like you know, cancel culture is live and well over there. Whereas I think it's a different age demographic on Instagram too. Right. So people are, think a little bit more, what's the word? Think a little bit more, not cognitively, but like
think before they, well, and it's more of a community on Instagram because your content is mostly being showed to people who already follow you. On TikTok, like if I post something that's, you know, like about marriage, it gets shown to every angry man, like in the US. That's where it goes. It doesn't get shown to people that should see it. It's wild.
Those people do need to see it. Their algorithm is built so that they do see it because they need to see it. But I understand, but you're triggering them completely. You know, it's like you're getting put in front. You're right. It's not a community. Your community that you've built on TikTok, your stuff doesn't get in front of them. It gets in front of like the people who who need to see it, but don't necessarily want to see it.
Exactly.
So good.
Oh my God.
I love it. But no, yeah, and like, just like to wrap that part up, I just don't want, like, I just have that's what I was going to say. I do feel like there's going to be, like, I have a feeling that there's going to eventually be some sort of rules and regulations with social media and kids. I see it, the writing is on the wall. And like, same with like some of the YouTube's families that are like, you know, the whole life has been on the internet. And like, that's like, but also I also am like, do what you have to do. Like, not, maybe I shouldn't say that, do what you have to do, but it's like, if you're a creative person and like you have the time, time consuming to do all of this. So if you're willing to put that work in and you're going to make some money and you're going to do that, and that's how you're going to put a roof over your kid's head, by all means do it. It's just, I do feel like at some point there's going to have to be an age of consent to be on the internet when you're
something.
There's going to have to be something, or there's going to have to be, I just feel like for your parents.
If you think about, like child actors,
yes,
there's like laws in place, there's unions, there's like a certain amount of their paycheck has to go into like a fund, like it's a whole thing. And so it's funny that you mentioned YouTube, because Milo was watching YouTube Kids last night, and there was like this family, there's a few like accounts that he watches all the time, and it's like parents and their kids and whatever, and it's super cute.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is great.
Winnie loves that too. My daughter loves that too. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, these people will probably never have to work a day in their life. Like, they have a bajillion subscribers. They probably like rake in the money, but there's also zero regulations, laws, like, and like that is going to come because people don't really watch TV anymore. They watch YouTube.
We're streaming. Yeah. And that's the thing. We're streaming other people's lives. Like, I love Instagram for the fact of, I'm like, there's nothing special about this. I did this all day. Like, this was my day to day, but I love watching you do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like someone else do exactly what's normal and like redundant, but you're like, well, I'm sucked into this hole, so I'm going to keep on, doing it. But no, I agree with you, because there's rules with kids and like child actors. Exactly. I feel like there's something that's going to come into some sort of play, and they're going to have to like grandfather it in from just like this date forward kind of thing. And, I just think too, like my mom, like growing up, like we didn't have a lot of money or anything like that. And like my mom, like bred dogs. My mom eventually, like she just did like all these like kooky, well, I shouldn't say kooky jobs, but she did like all of these different jobs. She's a very interesting person. She's really creative, but like she did what she had to do. And like, I'm not saying you have to do YouTube, but it's like they've also created a lot of opportunity. Those kids are going to be able to go to college. They might not have to work a day in their life, but at some point, I think that when there's a point where the kids say, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to, you're going to have to listen. Like, there's got to be some sort of consent or whatever it is, but it's going to come. And, but I didn't do that based on, like, I didn't choose not to put my kid on based on that situation. I just was like, I wanted life to stay normal. And I also co-parent. So there's like that element too, like it would have to be a joint decision and all of those things. But I just was like, this is my channel. This is what I want to do with it. And even my staff, like they all have the option not to be on. Like, I'm like, I know where the whole, like 90% of our business is content creation now. Like, if they don't want to be on and they just want it to be like their hands or whatever, they can opt out. Like, they can say, I don't want to be on, or I don't feel like I'm looking awesome today. Like, I don't post a lot of them anyways, but in the end, they're content creators. But it's not like this is part of your job to be on the internet. If they don't want to be on the internet, they don't have to be on the internet. This is their lives. And some of them are quite young. And anyways, that's just, I feel like consent all around, not just kids, for everybody. And that's why I don't really post stuff when I'm in public either. Cause I'm always thinking of like, I have so many followers. I don't want to post someone on the internet and then like get like, wow, that was me in Walmart. Thanks for posting my ass, Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Okay. I want to talk about where you were at before the business took off. So like, where were you at when you had the idea to start a cleaning company? Was that always something that you had thought about doing? Or was it just like a spur of the moment? Like, hey, like I should start this business. And where were you at in the business when it did start to take off? Like how long had it been going on and all that kind of stuff?
Lots of people don't think that I've been doing this for like 15 years or whatever, but I owned a dog walking company from 2006 to the pandemic, 2020. And so, like basically my day was like, I started just myself. I would go into houses, pick up dogs, walk them, drop them off. I would do it like off leash. I'm actually like I'm really good animal handler. Like I don't talk about it enough anymore, but it's like that part of my life is over and whatever. So anyways, but no, I would walk like 8 dogs off leash twice a day. It was the best job ever. Like in the river, in the mountains, like we live in Calgary. It was so amazing. I love animals. And so, then I eventually like grew that. It was really slow to grow that business. And then I had staff working for me. And then I started that before I got married. And then I got married, I had a baby, and then I was home with her. So I like ran the business back end, and then I ended up getting divorced. So when she was pretty young, so she was 1 when we split, or no, like a little over 1 when we split. And so I don't talk about this ever. So it's so that's part of it. And then so then I went back to dog walking and like put her into childcare or whatever. And then, but like that job was like it was flexible in the way of like all I wanted. And all I've ever wanted is to be able to like pick her up from school. Like that's always been my goal. Like I just want to be able to pick her up from school or like be home when she walks in the door. That's just something that I wanted to like for my life. And so when she went to school, I went back to dog walking and then, or sorry, I'm trying to think of like that.
To childcare?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how it actually went down. But like I had this time, or no, sorry, I was running the dog walking company. It kind of got big enough. Like we walked like 100 dogs a day. And so, yeah, like it was busy. So I was like more of a management, like scheduling and running everything. And then when she went to kindergarten, I was like, I have a little bit of extra time on my hands. And like, I didn't want to get back into the physical because I wanted to be around for her. But I was like, I want to open a cleaning company because we were in like the service industry. So basically, like home services. So like I would see the cleaners, I would see the landscapers, we were the dog walkers. Like when you have a dog walker, you're in a different tax. Like not all people are in a different tax bracket, but like we were kind of in like the posh area of town or whatever, you know, kind of thing. So we would see the landscapers. I would see the cleaners. Most people who have a cleaner had a dog walker. We would go and get the dogs on the cleaning day. Anyways, and then I would just be really surprised when the cleaners would leave that the houses weren't clean. I was like, what the?
You picked up on this.
I was like,
you were like,
I was doing the whole, and I'm like, and I'd be like they're charging like $200. This is like, they're not cleaning the houses. So anyways, they were cleaning the houses, but they were surface cleaning the houses. So I shouldn't say they weren't cleaning the houses. They were doing what they were getting paid to do. And so I was like, I could do this. And I love cleaning. I've always loved cleaning. So I'm like, I'm going to start a little cleaning company. And then I'm going to call it, my dog walking business was GoCleanCo. I was like, I'll call this GoCleanCo. They'll be like sister companies. We'll run them, whatever. So I started that, and that started in late 2018, ran for all of 2019. I probably had 5 staff members when pandemic hit, and I saw the dog walking company. So, and then, you know, like just remember how scared everybody was. And I remember like the cleaning company, the cleaners had went in to clean someone's house and everyone was at home. All the people were home, like the clients were like snotty and like sick. And I was like, that's it. I just like pulled the plug. I was like, the girls were like messaging me being like, were they sick? What if they have COVID? And like, I was just like, close it down. So we shut down the dogs. I shut down the cleaning company. Like everyone went on an EI, and we just basically, you were there for that. It was just absolute chaos. So, and then right before that, I had hit 10,000 followers on Instagram because. So
you were already putting on cleaning content on Instagram at that point? Okay.
Yeah. And so like when I first started, I was putting on like only like aesthetically pleasing, like stock photos and like really pretty houses that we would clean, like people's nice, like $1 million homes. I wasn't putting on like the gross gritty shit that I put on now. And then I started like one day I just picked up my phone and was like, I'm going to show people how to clean this. And I would just like did a story, and it went over so well. I probably had like 3,000 followers. And then, so I was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. So I kept going. And then we did clean some local influencers' house, like barter for trade. Like I was like, can we clean? I hit them up and was like, can I clean your house? And you put me on your stories. It had to be local, right? Like it had to be like, so that we could actually physically, like I didn't want to clean someone's house in Edmonton that was an influencer because I needed to be in Calgary to book it. Like my whole goal with Instagram was just to make the cleaning business busy. It wasn't to like be an influencer. And so I remember we hit 10,000 followers in February because I still have that post up, and I did a little giveaway for it. And then like I got to 20,000 within like 2 weeks, and with the COVID shutdown, and I started just talking about like disinfecting properly with bleach. And I always refer to the CDC guidelines. Like I was just like putting out the right information at the exact right time. And also just saying like, your housekeepers aren't coming. I'm going to show you guys how to clean. And we're actually home right now. When are we ever home? We're locked down. Why don't we get the houses in order? And it was just like, I literally I did a whole entire year without taking one day off of posting minimum 20 slides.
Wow.
I did not stop. I was a machine, and I had so much backlog.
Did you mostly post stories?
Yeah.
Or was it reels? Was reels even a thing then?
Reels weren't a thing then. And I could like to this day, like I'm trying to look because I don't even, people are like, how do you have like 2.4 million followers? And I only have 347 grid posts.
Oh,
so if you
interesting.
look, like, I'm sure you probably have like 1,000, you post grids all
Yeah.
the time. Like, I just didn't really do a lot of grids. I don't even to this day do a lot of like grid stuff. I do reels and stuff, but I didn't fall into that. Like, reels will make you go viral. That wasn't part of why I went viral. It was all stories. It was all, and it was also being online and answering people's questions. Like, it's still me in the back end. Like, there's no one there's no one answering the cleaning questions in the back end on the DMs except for me, because I'm just so worried about like the wrong advice being given, because there's a lot of people on there, and I won't answer questions that I don't know the answer to either. Like, sometimes I just don't know the answer to stuff. It's like, well, send me a photo of it. Like, people send me pictures and videos of things, like, and they're surprised when I answer. So it's, but I can't get to everything all the time either. Like, there's too many people who send me messages all the time, but my engagement is high because of that, because they know that I'm there trying to physically help. And I was doing that all through the pandemic. And like, there was times where I had, at one point, I remember like when I hit 100,000 followers, I was like, this is not the same as 10,000 followers, Sarah. You have to go to bed at night and sleep and just stop answering DM. Like, you just have to have a boundary.
I can't. I always feel bad, because what happens, and I don't know if you're the same, if you open a DM and they have already messaged you like 10 times previously, do you go back and read every single one? Because I do, because I'm a freak and I can't just leave it. So one message from one person ends up taking me like 5 minutes. So I maybe do like 2 DMs a day.
Oh, I don't do, I do, if it's like something immediately above it and they've sent me a photo and I'm like, how did that work out for you? Because sometimes it's like they sent that in March of 2022.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, they've only sent me another DM. So I'll be like, did that work out for you? Or did you try, have you fixed that problem or whatever? And then I'll leave it. Because I always feel bad. I open something and then I'm like, oh man, like, this is a follower who really, really likes me and sends me questions all the time. But then like,
I know, then you feel bad.
I know, but you can't do anything about it because you have a family and a life. And my thing too is like, if I get into a conversation with someone, I like talking to people. I love it. It's like, but it's like I compare it to like, I sometimes can't have these conversations with some of my best friends, like on text, because I'm too busy. It's like, well, now I'm on DM, I'm talking to people about all of these things, but that's part of my job too, right? So I look at it like, I have to answer DMs. So, but I can only answer so many, and I can't feel guilty about it. And I can't like get down a rabbit hole with just one person. I'm like, well, send me a photo, I can help you, blah, blah, blah. Like, mine are all specific questions. They're not like, tell me your views on world hunger. Like, you know what I mean? They're not asking me. Like, you're like,
I'm like all over the place.
You're very educated too. So I'm sure the stuff that you get is like, help me, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Or do people vent to you?
Oh yeah.
I always feel like they would vent to you.
That's actually one of my favorite things is like, I open a DM and it's like this long of just like a story, and I'll sit there and read it, and they're like, I'm so sorry, like I have no one to tell this stuff to, and I just feel like I can like tell you everything, and I'm just like, oh my God, like you just want to help everybody. But that's right, you have to set like a mental boundary, because it's similar to someone that works and does therapy all day. Like, you can take that home with you and it can affect you. Yes. So you have to kind of, like you were saying, like set that boundary. And, I read DMs and I'll take it in, and I have so much compassion and empathy, and I will respond, but that's as far as I can take it. Like, I can't fix people. Whereas you can fix.
I can't always fix people. Sometimes I'm like this. Your shit is way too far gone. But mine's like a physical thing that I'm trying to fix. It's not like, you know what I mean? Or
emotional. Yeah.
But sometimes there is emotional things, because they're like, they'll say, like
family heirloom.
Right. Or they're like, and I'm like, the thing that I always say is like, it's wrecked already. It is up to you. You can't get mad at me after this, but this is what I do. Because it's either going to the dump or it's, like, but then people are always like, I'm so scared. What if I wreck it? I'm like, well, it's already wrecked because you didn't clean it for 3 years. Like, I'm like, try to fix it or throw it away. Though mine is always try to fix it. But if it's a family heirloom, I'll be like, stop, take it to a leather guy. Stop, take it to a jewelry person. Like, there's specific things where like, we're not going to water bleach and tide this, because it's obviously emotionally important to you. So why are you trying? Like, there's certain thing. Yeah. Like, it's just like, I can usually feel it in the messages kind of thing. Like, I really wanted to come to you because I know you're an expert. I'm like, I do not know. I am not 100% expert on absolutely everything, and nobody is. And if they claim to be, they're full of shit. So like, one thing, I can help you with a few things, and then we can go like, sure, we can wash the walls. That's fine. But certain things I will stop you and say, like, think about it. How are you going to feel if you wreck this kind of thing? So, and then usually there's no one to blame but themselves. Right. So.
Okay, I put up a Instagram question box and some people had some good questions for like how to clean certain things. So somebody asked, and it's actually my realtor that's going to sell our house for us. Ooh. She was like, how do you clean the squishmallows? I'm assuming those are those big poofy, like
daughter loves those.
Soft, squishy, like stuffies. So to surface clean those things.
You can put those in your, like if you have a dryer that has a sanitized cycle, like, you know how it has a steam cycle, throw them in there and just like let them go. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you can, I should actually test one of my daughters and see if I could wash it and see what would happen. That would be a really good one. But I know just like even throwing the stuffies into the dryer on like a lower heat, like this goes for all of them. You don't want it on a too high of a heat, but it will kill some of those like dust mites and stuff that could get in them. Like my daughter has one of those, you know, those bunnies that everybody has, like those, you know, the jelly cats. Like that's her, she has a bun that she's had since she was a baby or whatever. And like I wash that and I put it in the dryer and like and that's just what, and she'll be like, can we wash Bun Bunny's starting to get stinky, you know, kind of thing. And he's lived through all of it. I just put him in like a pillowcase and make sure he's not going to get like his ears ripped off. And that's like something that we would all be very sad if that got wrecked. But if for squishmallows, you can just put them in the dryer on the steam cycle. And then if you don't have a steam cycle, just put them on low heat just to like fluff them up. But if there is like dirt on them, I would just blot them with a little bit of water and Tide, not bleach, just a hot water and like a teaspoon of Tide in a sink, and then just take a cloth and just dab at them. But I'll wash one of those on Instagram because I think that's a good idea. Like I'll go on, roll one out, and
see what happens.
Well, yeah, like if it's, I'm willing to like not a lot of the stuff I show. It also doesn't work sometimes. It's good to show people like, okay, I wrecked that. Whoops, you know. I've spent enough money on wrecking stuff at people's houses. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh my God, like, especially before we were famous, it was like, oh my God, you guys wrecked like somebody splashed vinegar on someone's marble countertop and it took the etch off. Like we have like a guy who like fixes stuff. So like we're not
the fixer.
Yeah, like we're not perfect people. We're not perfect. Things happen to us all the time, like happen at work all the time and we have to fix it. So, okay. Yeah. So squishmallows, that's what I would do. But I'm also like, stay tuned because I feel like I should wash one of them, like literally wash one and see. But I would just dab it with some water and then fluff them up in the dryer. That's what I would do with all stuffies. But don't put them on too high of heat because some of that synthetic fuzz can like melt, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is a great question, and it's very like it's good for me because we have the hardest water ever, and we have a water softener system, and everything is good when they come and test the water, but like it stains everything. It ruins everything, like faucets, toilet bowls. So what is your advice for hard water stains?
Well, my first advice is get a water softener. So you must have, aren't you in Sudbury?
No, we're near Toronto.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were for some reason. So
I'm from Sudbury.
Oh, you are? Okay. Cause we did our winner of the spring cleaning challenge. We went to Sudbury and cleaned their house.
What?
Yeah, so the spring cleaning challenge, or no, the winner of the whatever. We went there in the spring and cleaned and kicked off spring cleaning. No, sorry, fall cleaning. We went to Sudbury in the fall. Someone's house was on the lake. It was amazing.
Like, where did you stay in Sudbury? What'd you do? Like, who was it? I probably know who it is.
We stayed like in some hotel, and there was like a restaurant right in the parking lot. It wasn't anything. It was like a motel. Like it wasn't. There's not like it's not like there's the
sounds like Sudbury.
there was no Ritz for us to like be ballers at by any means. But it was fun. It was actually that's the first time I've ever been to Ontario. It was beautiful, and it was funny.
It is
because our flight got canceled, and that was when the chaos of like the Toronto airport was such a disaster, and so we had to drive from Sudbury to Toronto. Sudbury. No, Sudbury to Toronto to get home. So our flight was canceled or whatever, and that's so funny because where did I meet you? I met you in LA because I went from Sudbury to LA or to New York for the Amazon influencer thing, but I didn't meet you. You were at the LA one. That's where I met you. Yeah. Okay. Because I flew straight down there to see them because that was whatever. Anyways, yeah, we went there. That was really fun. There's like a really cool heritage, like general store. Do you know where that is? And it's like on the lake. It's right near I know there's a bunch of lakes. So I do not know the area at all because I've never been there.
Did you know for like the size of the Sudbury and like the surrounding area of Sudbury, it has the most lakes in one location. Like for that area, it's the most populated area of lakes, which like you wouldn't think that. People just think it's like, you know, because it's Northern Ontario, but there's so many lakes.
It was so beautiful. We don't have like we have like mountain lakes in Alberta, right? So you can't go swimming in them. So that's like one thing that I'm always like, oh, it'd be so nice. But yeah, anywho, so whatever, I got totally distracted there. What was the question?
Hard water.
Hard water. Okay, yeah. So we have really, really hard water in Calgary. So we deal with it all the time. But yeah, my number one tip is like some water softener. If that doesn't work, that does help even if you don't think it is. And if you're seeing like, you also might have to adjust your salt in your water softener if it's like still it's like white residue. Is that what you're seeing? A lot of mineral buildup. So you have to be careful you're not overdoing it with the water softener too. Sometimes we have the the vinegar and Blue Dawn recipe, which we find really works great to like spray because it's safe to like spray on.
Is that the one you leave on for a few minutes?
Oh, you can leave it on overnight, like, and let it deal with the glass, but sometimes your glass just gets etched with too much in it. But that's like our first go-to. Then our second go-to is like, we use Microban 24 bathroom, which I like that a lot because it's safe for so many surfaces. Like you have to also, like if you have a marble shower, you can't use the vinegar and Blue Dawn on it. This is like the most common thing that I say in DM. Someone sends me something and then I'm like, what's it made out of? And they're like, oh, I'm like, what are your tiles from? Like that's why people will say like, you use so many cleaning products, like it doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, no, it does make sense because chemically you can't use this on travertine. If you have an enamel tub, you can't use this. If you have XY, I need to know what the actual tub is made out of. And then I'm like, okay, we can use Microban on that. Okay, we can use scrubbing bubbles on that. I just want
to say so many people's questions were like, why does she always use different products? I was like, listen, people. Okay.
That's why.
Like, there's a reason. Exactly.
I'll make sure you don't edit this part out because this is like, honestly, I should honestly just do a little story time and be like, this is why. Because people are like, that's why I also have a book too. It's like, I say like X do these things for these reasons. And I can't make blanket statements. People want me to just make a blanket statement of like, use only one cleaner and it's going to clean everything. Well, that's why the cleaning aisle is as big and as vast as it is because some cleaners are specially formulated to work on specific types of surfaces. And like, I don't want you to wreck your marble shower. So that's why I'm so adamant of like, you can't use this on marble, but you could use this. You could use, like, first of all, rip out all the marble in the first place. Like no one is allowed to put marble in their house after 2020. That's what I tell people. I'm like, or the people who have marble in their houses, don't clean it themselves. They can afford to pay someone else to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So no, and that's really funny that you get that. Cause it's like, I don't get it. Why would you use the other day I used Blue Dawn in my shower and vinegar. And then the next day I used Microban in someone else's shower and everyone's like, why? I don't understand. What are you doing? And I'm like, this isn't it. They're like, is it sponsored? I'm like, no, it's not sponsored. I'm just using it because this is what's safe for this shower. So
people want to catch you, right? Yeah, people want to be like, hey, wait a minit.
I know. But also I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of feelings about that too. Cause it's just like, I'm like, or people are like, you're getting paid for this. I'm like, well, why would I get mad at you when you got paid on Fridays?
No, I know.
Like,
I know.
Damn, like, it's like, I'm like, I disclose everything. So it's like, I'm not too worried about it. I'm pretty good at being like sponsored, whatever it is. And like, it's just, the brands won't let you not disclose it because they can get fined.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, they're not going to mess around with you messing with them getting like, I'm like cause people think, oh, you're getting paid for everything. It's like, I'm not getting paid for everything. That's I do get paid. Trust me. And it's amazing. And it's like, I'm living my dream life right now, but it's, 75% of my content is organic content that I create so that I can fish in these deals that keep the wheel turning. You know what I mean? Like you can't, the only reason you have a community is because you were doing organic stuff, right? Yeah. Same with you.
Yeah, you do. That's what I always have to like wrap my head around. Like, oh, you get paid X amount of dollars for like one partnership. It seems crazy. Like if you tell people, like they lose their goddamn minds. But at the same time, it's like we work for free 24/7.
Yeah. So, and there's no
basically.
Yeah. And there's like, and I always say like, influencers, I hate when influencers complain because I'm like, I know what your rates probably are, but it's also at the same time, I'm like, you don't have to get on here and complain because I still remember what it was like to clean toilets 5 days a week and then go to Costco and do the Costco run for the cleaners and then do all of the scheduling, do all that. That was still much harder. But I do work longer hours now because I'm not like, and I don't like to say this like in a bad way, but I'm not just an influencer. I'm still running like a whole entire company on top of this. So it's just like there's extra stuff involved managing staff. I have HR. We have workers' compensation. Someone just sliced their leg open at a clean the other day. Like there's all of these things. It's just like, I'm like, I didn't post today because all of these things happened. You know what I mean? It's like it's not just Instagram. I need to Gary Vee this stuff. Like I need to like hire someone to like follow me around with like a camera crew and be
think about that all the time.
It'd be so great because then you'd have so like just never ending content. It would be like so
Gary
good.
Vee. He just has someone follow him around with a camera. If people don't know who he is, I share his clips all the time. And it's like just these organic video clips of him like talking to someone in the street or like going on a rant in the car. And I'm like, I need a camera on me like 24/7 and then someone to like go through all that content and just create clips.
I know. And that's what he does. It's like, I know it's funny because not a lot of people are my sister is a huge Gary Vee fan. Like my older sister She loves him so much. And she has like some of his like little, I don't even know, he's like
NFTs.
Yeah, she has some of his like little like the ones that you can like hold on to that can look like action figures or whatever. She's so into him and she loves him so much. But she listens to his podcast every morning. Like she just loves him so much. So she's always sending me stuff. But I do find him so interesting from like a content perspective. He just has someone follow him around, just content all day long, and that's all organic content that he's just putting out all day long. So I'm like, anyways, I just joked the other day about like just wearing a GoPro for a whole entire clean, but I'm like, oh my God, I'll probably get canceled. So oh yeah, it'll take some heavy editing. It'll definitely take some heavy editing because trust me, I'm like, the things that we find that we don't get to post is amazing. Oh,
I never even thought of that. You're right in people's homes.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
And we do post a lot of disgusting stuff, right? Like we have permission to post on everything. So it's okay. So, but it's like, but if I find something, I'm like, we can't post that, but we still have a good chuckle about it. So it's, kind of thing. But yeah, we find some pretty gross shit. I'm not going to say I don't. So I think you got a question even about that.
So when you like retire, you can write a book, like the Cleaning Ladies Tell All, and you can write stuff down.
I'm going to call it Dirty Little Secrets, I think, like something like that. Like it has to be, it'll have to be, I've already got it. I've already had like so many offers to do it. Like it's just, I'm in the thick of everything right now. So I'm like, it's like, when you write people who write their memoirs when they're like 22, you're like, just like live a life a little bit, please. Like we want to hear it when it's a little bit further down the road, please. So, but yeah, no, there's some serious, and just even like nightmare clients. And like, I have had some crazy stuff where it's just, or even nightmare clients since I've been famous of like people trying to take advantage of us. It's awful. So there's just been, it's been
crazy.
Who
else should write a book when he retires is my husband, because he's a urologist.
Yeah.
So imagine the stories.
Are doctors allowed? Well, I would see the TikTok doctors and I'm like, I'm surprised they're allowed to tell all of these stories. Is it because they just keep it anonymous?
I think it's because it's anonymous. But also that always boggles my mind too. Like, how do you maintain like the line of being a professional licensed like healthcare provider and then also like being extremely unprofessional on TikTok? Like some of them are very educational and amazing. But yeah, I always wonder about that. Anyways, I want to get to more people's questions. This is also a great question because I'm obsessed with white towels and white bedding.
I saw your stories the other day.
How can I bring my white linen quilt back to life? I'm not sure what quilt means. Is that like a knit thing? But let's just talk about white stuff in general, like white bedding, white towels. What do you do for those? I just throw them in the wash with bleach.
Yeah, and right? That's great. And then that brighten. That's why I like white. That's what I love. White bedding. I love white towels. I love everything. But also laundry stripping if you have something that can't take bleach, because sometimes bleach can yellow stuff. So you have to read your labels. going back to the exact same thing about what I said about why we would why we know what things are made out of. Cause you can yellow stuff by bleaching it too. So you have to like,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But like towels aren't something that we'd yellow from bleaching. It's like, I think linen might actually, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not like, I have an encyclopedia of things in here, but not everything is right. I usually Google it to check, but, there's specific, like sometimes cotton can go yellow if you over bleach it. Like, so you have to read the label. That's why all of your clothing has a label on it and you're going to read it and it'll say no bleach. Or if it says bleach, then you can bleach it. And then if you can't bleach it, laundry strip it, which I have like my laundry stripping recipe is like free for all. It's on the internet everywhere. It's on my blog. It's on the YouTube.
Is that where you like let stuff soak?
So yeah. And actually when she's saying a quilt, I'm confused about the linen part of it. So it'd be interesting. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like hard to answer that type of a question.
Because linen is like a material.
Yeah, like linen's
right?
like wrinkly. Do you know what I mean? I feel like linen would bleach. I don't know. I have to think about that. But if she stripped it, I've had people like have patchwork quilts that are filthy and like really yellowing, and they are like worried about be like, oh, I don't know if I want to strip this because like, what if the color comes out of it? And they've come like, I need to go to the thrift store and do it, like get an old patchwork baby quilt and do it and just show people like heirloom items can be revived from this. But yeah, if it says no bleach on the label, then you're going to go to the laundry stripping, which is where we soak it in the bathtub or in your top load washing machine.
Is that with like baking soda?
Yeah. It's, a generous scoop of Tide laundry detergent. It's borax, washing soda. And then you can add in like a water softener. It's called Calgon water softener, but it's really hard to find in Canada. It's easier to find in America. So, but you don't need the water softener, but it just helps because when your water's really hard, your laundry detergent has to doesn't work as well. So that's why I also love powdered Tide because it has water softeners already in it. It has surfactants. It has enzymes. That's just it. It's just a great laundry detergent, period. And it's been formulated for all of these things to help tackle. It's also important, to know if your laundry detergent, if your water's hard, you should be using a laundry detergent that has a softener in it. Lots of people don't realize all of that. I know there's so many things, so much science,
Science, lots of people, including myself. What was I going to say? Oh, what towels do you use? Like bath towels?
Bull and Branch. Because I have a partnership with them, but those are the towels. Those are my favorite. They're great. They have huge bath sheets that are
that's what I need.
Yeah. He always says, Mr. GoCleanCo is always these are duvets. They're so big, but I love that you or if you try to use a bath sheet on your head, you're ugh, they have smaller and big ones, but they have a spa towel that's a little bit thinner. And I actually really like that one a little bit more than the big, huge, thick, heavy one. It just depends on what your mood is, but I like those spa ones because they dry really quick.
I'm going to try the spa one. So I bought a box of a whole set of the Amazon commercial white towels. Love them. The material of them and how they wash, everything is perfect, how they feel on my skin, but they're not big enough. I need a big, massive
bath sheet
towel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to look at those spa ones because I like thinner towels too. Okay. This is a good question. How do I ask my cleaners politely to do more, like a GoCleanCo style of cleaning? And I know you've been very upfront with how you guys are a deep cleaning company and not just an in and out, quick clean. So how do people go about that? Because I know the people that come and clean our house give the option of a deep clean where they're here all day. Or you can just do the weekly typical clean. So, but yeah, how do people address their cleaners if they want them to do more in a nice way?
All you do is offer to pay them more money.
There you go.
It's the easiest, simplest, because their time is valuable. And so you just say, okay, I'm hoping to get I understand you're doing, I've hired you for 2 hours, but I would really love it if my kitchen got a really deep scrub this week when you come. How much more time is that going to take you? And what's it going to cost me? And then they're going to say, well, 2 more hours. We could probably factor it in next week. Give them some grace, right? You know what I mean? And then what I always tell people too, because yes, we're a deep cleaning company. I'm coming into the house with 5 people to clean. We're there. I literally just said this on the Instagram when I cleaned my sister's house this weekend. So, you have to be willing to pay for it. And if your cleaners are just coming in to service clean, like don't be mad about them because you're just paying them to do the things to keep your house functioning, but it still needs a good deep clean a couple times a year. So that's what people hire us for, is for the deep clean. But the nicest way to say it is like, I would love my kitchen to have a good once over. I would start there. And then I would say, could you do that in every room for like, say you wanted to keep your cleaning company, not hire a deep cleaner to come in and say like, for the next 5 cleans, could we do one room extra good when you come in or whatever, like pull the couches away from the baseboards, and then, or else just hire one good deep clean and hire them for a whole entire day. That's it. It's just like, it's money. That's really what it boils, money and time, like you can't just spring it on them when they show up, because they're usually going to we recently hired someone and she was in a team of people and she was cleaning 5 houses a day. I was like, how is that possible? We clean 1 house a day with like a team of 5 people. But she's like, we just like Swiffer and sweep. Like it was like Swiffer, sweep, dust in and out. Like, what, like that was that company's shtick. Like they came in fast, boom, boom,
Basic.
boom. Right. I'm like, you must spend your whole time driving. Like it's crazy. So, but they're different strokes for different folks, kind of thing. So, but no, just offer to pay a little bit more money. Ask them up front. Don't tell them that they suck. Just say, I was hoping that we could get a little bit more focus on the kitchen. I would love a really good once over in the kitchen. And then maybe we can move through the house doing this. That would be really helpful to me, but it's going to cost you more money. Your cleaners should just whatever. I'm big.
Yeah. If you're asking for more work,
you're going to pay more money.
Pay for, yeah.
Like, do you do for work for free when you're at work and not get paid for
Not
it?
anymore. Not anymore.
I learned
my lesson.
Good.
Okay. To end, I'm going to just rhyme off these fun questions for you so you can just answer them as quickly as you want. Okay. How often do you yourself deep clean your kitchen and your bathrooms?
Every 2 weeks.
Holy shnikes. Okay.
I can't.
You're on
I can't. My problem is I can't not. That's why I started the cleaning company and it ended up being a deep cleaning company. I was like, I tried to change. I was always changing because customers were asking all of these things and not wanting to pay enough money. And I was like, I couldn't leave the baseboards dirty. Like, that's just my personality. That's exactly how it is. So it's like when I do it, I just do it the whole way.
When I lived by myself in a condo, a little small condo in beautiful downtown Ottawa, I was a deep cleaner, like every weekend. Deep clean the shit out of my condo for like a couple hours, living my best life. And now I'm just a slob.
People,
but anyways.
think about that before you buy a house, people. I tell people that all the time. It's like the more shit you have, the harder it is to keep clean, the bigger the house is.
Oh, Sarah.
This house that we're in is very, much bigger than our old house. And it's, it's a lot to keep up with how busy I am. And so, it's just like, I'm like, oh.
This is we are moving and one of the, we're going to go look at a house tomorrow that's like beautiful. I love it. And it's smaller. My husband's like, it's smaller. I was like, good.
Yeah.
Because we're getting rid of stuff. Like we don't need all that. We have so much stuff. Like I need to purge, donate, get rid of stuff and just live in a smaller house. There's only 3 of us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're going to be it's going to feel good. It's just, we sold everything too in the pandemic before we moved. The people who bought our old house, they bought everything. They were like, can we buy all the rugs? And I was like, no, those are from Ruggable. Like I'm on a contract with them. You can't have them. They will try to write them in the offer. We want the rugs. I was like, you can't have them. But anywho, yeah, you're
like, here, use my code. And you can get them.
That's exactly what I did. I sent them the link. I was like, here you go. If you want to buy all of these ones, these are all the ones that I have in the house. But yeah, we did. That happened to us when we moved. We sold everything and then the furniture didn't come. I was like, get rid of it all. Cause I just don't want to deal. I was like, just get rid of it. Then we don't have to move it and store it and do all of that stuff. Cause we had a little bit of lag in between the houses and yeah. So anyways, but also when you move, it's a reset. When someone lives somewhere for 10 years, they accumulate a lot of stuff. So every time you move, you get rid of your stuff, kind of makes you feel a little bit more in control of this, the walls closing in on you, Yeah. I like to move every 3 years. I'm 2 or 3 year person.
We have moved probably 12 times in the last 12 years. Ridiculous.
Do you guys just get sick of it or do you just is it work?
No, I was in school. I was I moved around different apartments in Ottawa. Then we moved out to Victoria, BC because he was working there. And then we moved back to Sudbury. He took a job there. And then I was finishing school in Ottawa. And then we moved here. And now it's he just took a new job in Guelph. So we're moving to Guelph.
Wow.
And we're staying there.
For
so
sure.
I'm yes. Yes, we are. Because right now we're in like a rural area because everyone's like, why are you moving? We're in like a rural area, so we have to drive a half hour to do anything. There's nothing around here. So to live in Guelph, like I have a few friends there, like it'll just be so
nice.
Lovely.
Yeah. When I lived in the old house before we moved here, like you weren't following me at that time, but like before I moved here, people were like, why are you moving? This house is so beautiful. My daughter's like school zones changed. So that was number one reason. And then also just this house is 5 minutes from like town. It's so amazing. The other house was half an hour, like 25 minutes from town. And it was like, now we're like, oh, it's just so nice. You're like,
I can't wait.
I can go get a coffee. I can go get eggs.
You know what? I can Uber Eats.
Oh yeah.
Everything. I cannot wait to Uber Eats. Oh, yeah. Okay, next question. You're on a deserted island in a dirty home, and you can only bring one cleaning product. What is it?
Powder Tide.
Yeah! Oh, my God. I'll visit because I love that smell. Based on all your cleaning experience, what's the dirtiest thing in people's homes that they don't usually think to clean often?
Dishwasher filter or your washing machine. Like usually dishwasher filter, because dishwasher filter to me blows my mind that you think you can put your dishes in there and think that they're getting clean, and it's like a swamp sludge slime. It's like, I'm like, guys, this is so gross that you think your dishes are clean afterwards. They're not.
I'm literally like, does my husband clean the dishwasher filter? As soon as we hang up, I am going there and I'm going to go look to see, and I'm going to text him and be like, do you clean that?
Text me a picture and tell me it, because I guarantee you it's going to be like, especially if your water's really hard, it's going to be all clogged with hard water, and you're going to need to soak it in vinegar.
Okay. I will get back to you on that one. What's your favorite thing to clean?
Oh, I can tell you my things I hate cleaning.
That's my next question.
My favorite thing to clean is baseboards, because it's like so rewarding.
Okay, Sarah, I just have to tell you this quick story. We're going to go over it because we could just talk forever. But okay, so I waitressed at this little pub in Sudbury for 6 months. Okay, it was the worst. I am not built to be a waitress. I'm sorry. It's the worst experience of my life.
I loved being a waitress. I loved it.
Oh my God. I'm just not built for that.
I can see that with your personality. I can see
1,000%.
I will tell you, like, the funniest story is like, I got a job waitressing when my daughter was like 1, because I didn't want to go back to dog walking. And I was like, but I still own the dog walking company. And I would like put the beer down and I would be like, I own my own business. Like I was like, but I was like, you need to not do this job because you're like thinking that it's like, but I loved waitressing for so long. I like being in service to people. There's something about it. But anyways, yeah. So, okay, tell me.
Not me. This is why I podcast. And like my dad can confirm this because he hired me for a summer. He was like a boss at this big mining company in Sudbury, and he hired me to be like the admin person.
Okay.
Did not go well. But he couldn't fire me. But still, I was like, I can't be in the service industry. So I'm at this waitressing job. It was like a Saturday afternoon or something, and it was dead. And my boss comes up to me and she's like, oh, like, would you mind getting a bucket of soapy water and just like wiping down the baseboards? And I was so taken aback. I was like, I'm a waitress and I have to clean baseboards. Anyways, I told that story to my friend, and like she still brings it up today. She's like, hey, Renee, can you get a bucket of soapy water and just wipe down the baseboards? I'm like, oh, I was like traumatized.
It's called time to lean, time to clean. That's like the restaurant saying, if you're like leaning on something, time to lean, time to clean. So that's because they need to, like, if you're not busy, they're paying you. So they want you to work. Oh my God. That is so funny.
Yeah.
I think I learned most of my like a lot of my life skills from waitressing. I waitressed from the time I was 14. I worked at like a Husky truck stop until I started the dog walking company when I was like 21 or 22 years old. And I ended up like just getting too busy and I stopped doing it. But I still, like, to this day, like full hands in, full hands out from the kitchen. Like, you know, when someone's walking behind, like, you know, in a restaurant, when you work there, they say like behind? We still do that when we're cleaning houses, like just like safety and like all of these things. But yeah, I always sell it to try to teach my daughter that. I'm like, if you're going from one room to the next, you take the cups with you, or like you like pick up the stuff because you're going here and like get so much more things done. I think
I'll tell you, like, waitressing for 6 months, even though like I hated it and like I was decent at it, but now when I eat in restaurants, like I am very aware of what should be happening. And And if it's not happening, I'm like,
oh, and I'm like I like stack all the dishes and like put everything into the edge of them.
Oh,
I'm like,
you're that
I'm
person?
that person. I'm like very helpful. But then if it doesn't get done, I'm like, oh gosh, but whatever. Then I'm always like,
I'm like, oh my God, they gave me the bill before they cleared the table. Like, what?
Yeah.
What kind of establishment is this?
I worked at a really fancy high-end place, and that was like, and he, like, the owner of the place was like, that was back when you could still smoke in bars. We had a 2-butt rule. Like, so you could only have 2 cigarette butts in an ashtray. So you had to like change the ashtrays all the time. Like you always had to have like cotton coasters underneath every single drink. Like I've like to run a company so type A and so particular, but then also like that place was like, you could eat off the floors. But it was I made really good money there. Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it is good money.
Uh-huh.
Okay, was that your favorite thing to clean?
base boards, just because it's an immediate,
it's rewarding,
it's immediate, it's like quick, and it makes you feel good right away, and it doesn't take long. Like horsehair brush could do it, or you could scrub them, and then it's really, really rewarding. So that's my favorite thing. And the second question is, what do I hate cleaning the most?
Least favorite.
I hate cleaning ovens. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I will do, and I have to clean them a lot of the time because I like usually I'm in the kitchen when we're cleaning houses, and I just hate cleaning them. They're so annoying. It's so dirty. Your hands are sore by the end of it. Use your self-clean function, people. If you use it like once a month, you don't ever have to clean your oven ever again.
See, I would be a good client for you because we don't cook.
Yeah, I can tell.
And if we do, it's like in the air fryer. So you'd be like, holy shit, this oven is like
exactly.
sparkly.
I know. Yeah, you can tell. People say that too. I'll be like, look at this oven, and it's like so clean. And people are like, people don't cook anymore in their ovens. They use like air fryer. It is true. You're right, but not my clients. Not the people that I clean, obviously. So okay, what's next?
Okay, last question, and like, I am this kind of person. When you go to hotels, I don't even know how to fucking clean it. I'm this kind of person. When you go to hotels, are you like examining whether the room is clean? Like you must be so aware of.
Yeah. And it's really like, okay, so since I can afford to stay in nicer hotels, they're not as dirty anymore. Do you know what I mean? But it's like,
yep.
I remember when this has only ever happened one time, and my sister and I were staying in a hotel. And like they, like with the kids, like we were like doing a little family thing in the mountains, and my sister's room was filthy, but mine wasn't. Like the vents were filthy. The baseboards were filthy. She's like, oh my God. And she's like, come into my room. And I'm like, why is my room clean and yours isn't? You know what I mean? She just has to switch rooms or whatever. But I'm like, if all of these things aren't cleaned, like the basic stuff is like, you know, just sheets getting changed or whatever. But, yes, I look at it. And then like we just did a blacklight video for YouTube, and everyone's like, you should then we went to San Diego for like to clean for the spring cleaning challenge winner's house. And the girls were like, let's blacklight the hotel room. And I'm like, why would you do that to yourselves? Like, I'm like, do not do that. I'm like, I don't want to know. Like, it looks clean. I'm okay. Like, and I don't want to do it at the end. I don't want to do it at the beginning. So those are my like, I'm okay. Like, I feel like it sucks because you say like, you know, you spend a little bit more money at a house, you're obviously good, or at a hotel, it's going to be a little bit cleaner. But I've stayed at some really nice hotels, like, and they are not clean. So there's just a different level of, but I don't complain about it. I'm not like someone has to come and scrub my hotel. I'm like, I booked this hotel. It is what it is. And like, wipe off the toilet thing. I'm like, I don't know. I'm an understanding person. That's the thing too. I'm kind of like, oh, well, this is what their standards
probably
are.
because you have done it for so long.
Yeah.
You probably.
And I think too, like they're trying, I go by the hotel housekeeper's heart, and I'm like, she has to clean all of these rooms today. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, holy, they're trying their best, especially during
with what
COVID.
They have.
Like there was there's a labor shortage. Like there's a lot of factors. And some people we have bad days at work where I'm like, you guys, how did we like miss something like this? It's like, oh, so not everyone does everything perfect. So I just kind of am like that. I just kind of wait. But also I do know that like, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I haven't really thought about it so much, but the first thing I do is like, is this room clean? Like, is it clean to my standards? I just recently stayed at a hotel, and like it was in Dallas, and I didn't post where I was or anything like that, so I can talk about it. But like, was it in Dallas? I can't remember. oh my God, it's so bad how much I've been traveling lately. Anyways, it's like so bad. Anyways, I came home and I had like a very bad feeling about bed bugs. Like I was like, so, you know, like my suitcase stayed, you know, like there's things that you can do when you come home from a hotel too. Like, you know, make sure or when you're at a hotel, don't put your suitcase on like the soft surfaces. Don't do like lift it up. There's the reason why that thing is there. And I just had this feeling. So I like kept everything else. Like, it didn't come true, but I was just like, this feels like the type of hotel that would have bed bugs. Do you know what I mean? It was Dallas. That's where I was. Anyways. Yeah. So, but anyways, I'm not going to say where it was, but I just had this vibe from it where I was like, ugh, don't touch, like leave this stuff outside. So, and it wasn't a filthy hotel. It was just like dirty carpets that had, yeah. And when I was in San Diego, we stayed at Marriott and everything was like hard surface. I thought that was actually a really great idea. I was like, oh, every single thing in this hotel, it made the rooms really echoey, but I was like, I haven't stayed in a hotel room that has like laminate flooring before. This was a good idea because
I always check for like hardwood floors or like like laminate floors. I like, this is the first thing I notice when I'm checking out hotels online. Like, is it carpet?
Most of them are.
I know. And I know it's cheaper, but God, that must be hard to keep clean.
I think it's
like,
to me, I think, yeah, hard floors are harder to keep. Like our carpets are like you vacuum carpets, right? But when you have hard floors, you have to vacuum the floors, then you have to mop them. So it's double dip, right? But also from the concept of like, they still have to get used, you're going to have to steam clean the carpets. Like I don't like taking my shoes off in hotel rooms with carpet, like, you know, kind of thing. But and like what the other gross thing that I hate about hotel rooms is shower curtains. That's like, I hate shower curtains, period. I don't even like them if it's like my house and it like touches my arm. I'm like, ew, that's so disgusting. I don't know why. And it's like my dirt, but I have a thing against shower curtains that I hate. But I also don't like glass doors for showers because there's so much work. So I
just want to say that I hate the cushions that they clearly don't wash, like the throw cushions that they put on the bed, and then that like thick blanket at the bottom. I'm like, pick it up, throw it away. Cushions, throw it away.
Like it's decorative. It's almost like
they don't clean it.
It's never. There's no way they're replacing that. So it's just like those types of things. I'm like, ew, no. And I also think too, you know, when it's the top sheet. And then a sheet over the duvet is just laid in between. And then the duvet, I'm like, the duvet is not getting cleaned either. Okay. We're going to give people complexes.
I'm never traveling again. Oh my God. Okay.
I am going to Vegas this weekend for Taylor Swift. So I have to I'm going to have to stay. I better be clean where I'm staying.
Are you going to share about the concert and stuff on your stories? Yeah. Because I can't wait.
I think I am. I won't overkill it or whatever, but it's just, I'm taking my daughter. So I'll have to like, you know, keep it, whatever. And it's like, this is the experience for us, but I'm taking my daughter, my sister, and then I'm going with, you never met her, Bose Ventos. So she didn't come to LA, but she's going to. It just worked out that she ended up getting us tickets. Like it was like, I couldn't get my tickets and she ended up like saving the day because she got through in Vegas. And she was like, do you still need tickets? I was like, yes, thank gosh. So we're all going. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. I have to share it. I'm a hardcore Swiftie.
I can't wait to see it because even like I'm a Swiftie now. I decided the other day. But if she comes to Canada, like I'm going to go. For sure. I
actually just figured out that like I'm in Vegas and then the next weekend I have to go to Dallas for something. And I just figured out she's there on April 1st. So I'm like, do I go again by myself? But I'm going to have to pay like StubHub prices and like, but they've dropped a lot. Like the first day they were like $10,000. Now they're bad. Like they're dropping as it gets closer to the date. Like a single ticket in the nosebleeds, like I could get something like pretty good, I think. So, but
yeah, you should. If you have the time, go by yourself.
I'm like, I know, Mr. GoCleanCo was like, I could come with you. And I was like, you aren't coming to Taylor Swift because I don't want you.
It's not worth the money.
It's not even that. It's just like, I want someone who appreciates it or I'm going by myself. I'd rather hang out with like my neighbors at Taylor Swift and be like, hey, can we party? Let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
Even if it's
That's why I went to Jay Shetty by myself. I was like, nobody else is going to care about going to see Jay Shetty. I'm just going to go by myself. Like, and I did. And it was perfect.
Great experience.
Like,
solo things are fun. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for coming.
I know.
On
Thanks
my podcast.
for having me. That was great.